Hello, everybody. Yay! We're live streaming. Chocolate milk. Cheers. So I have so much gratitude to all of you guys. I love all the happy birthday greetings popping up. Yeah, UniFi, January 6th was technically the first day we've released UniFi out to the public for everybody to buy. And it was rough rolling there for those of you that were at the very beginning. About January 17th. Toby, you were one of the originals. Thank you, all of you guys. Look, I see Samian, Ken, congrats on your trip to Costa Rica, man. It's such a great place. I for the first plugin to my dog when I was. Oh wow, thank you, Lime. That's awesome. So yeah, January 6th, 2020, UniFi came out. Since then, look at this. This is a little crazy. If we say all libraries. Hello, get up to the top. With most everything, I think we have over 88,000 patches. That's using all of the Omnisphere 2 libraries that we've released in the past that were unified. So you could load up the Omnisphere 2 patches. There's 49 libraries just for UniFi we've released. There's over 100 unified libraries for everything from Spitfire Audio Labs, all the different plugins, Uhi. You can go over here and here's Zebra 2 and all that kind of stuff to play with. It's just awesome. Thank you to all you guys that helped build the unified libraries. A number of you guys had automated software on your PCs that would copy out and paste the tags and all that kind of stuff and save the patches and hit start once you had it all nailed down, and it would take, a day to nail it down so it would do it and not crash and not freak out. It's awesome. You guys have helped build this community and it's so exciting. So thank you so much to all of you. It's been really fun, really fun to build and develop. Let me see here. I don't know what we should do for this part of it. I was getting like, well, maybe we go some of the libraries. I just want to point out there's a whole bunch of free libraries. By the way, my name's John Limcool. Plugin Guru swag. Got Plugin Guru t-shirts. So you can pick up a Plugin Guru t-shirt if you want. Let me give you the link for our... We don't have unified t-shirts yet. I'm going to get on that, I promise. But it's fourth wall... Here it is. And they're reasonably priced. We're not trying to gouge anybody and all that kind of stuff. But if you want a baseball cap, we got Plugin Guru baseball caps, and they're really nice. It's a really nice padded bill and area on the back, and it looks good when you wear it. It's got a cool look to it. Share some more snippets of UniFi 2, John. I haven't shared anything with UniFi 2 yet. I do have one thing I'm going to show you guys as a treat. I'll give you a hint at something we are going to be doing. We're not ready to do much as far as, let me see here. What was I going to show you? Where did I put it? Right here. Because one thing that was a priority to me is I wanted more knobs. And so one thing, now this is in UniFi 1. And it's going to be very different, the look and everything. But one thing I will show is that we have knobs, faders, momentary toggles, all sorts of things coming to UniFi 2 when it comes out. And I don't know what date that will be. We're not putting any announcement of a date. It will. I'm kind of the guys id Software when they did their Quake and all those video games and stuff. We ship it when it's ready. And we got a lot we want to do with UniFi too. It's really, really cool. But one thing that I will share is that it's not going to be just one macro knob. And this is just, I'm not showing you underneath the hood of what you can do with these knobs because it gets even deeper. Very, very exciting. But that's one thing I will give you as a free teaser because I appreciate you all and want to give you something. Knobs and switches are good. Yeah. There's times where a switch is more usable than a knob and so forth. And so instead of our lovely knobs looking like this, we do have an idea for some new looks. These aren't the final looks. One thing I'm really, really excited about, I can tell you, is my daughter, Hannah, is a graphic artist. And she lives in San Francisco and is working with us on the design of UniFi 2 as well, on icon design, all sorts of things. So it's really, really exciting. We have some really cool things planned for UniFi 2. We were maybe going to have something to show you at the Booklet and Friends event. I want to taper that down a little bit. We might not have something to show you. Might just be showing UniFi, which is a lot. As you can see, there's a lot here to show. So, yeah. So let me say, I have fingernail clippers close to me because one of my things since I was a little kid, I chew my fingernails. If something like isn't right on my fingernails and stuff, I have either I bite it off or I have to cut it. So I have fingernails everywhere. Fingernail clippers all over the place. I don't have fingernails everywhere, but I have fingernail clippers everywhere. Because if something pops up, it bugs me and I gotta fix it. So anyway, we have so much we could show you. So many fun libraries. The latest library that we released, Purity, is really lovely. Going for the purest sounds. Yeah, this is an IKEA table. If you're thinking of going for a desk, I would recommend getting one that can raise and lower with the buttons that you push to motorized. I wish I had that. Such fun sounds. There's so many libraries. We could spend the whole day, the whole live stream just doing this. But like I said, I was going to show you at the plugin group. I showed you the t-shirts. If you go to pluginguru.com, my website, thank you. Get this over here. Purity is the latest, actually the newest library is Modularity from Tim Dale. We'll show you that in a minute too. A lot of you are loving that, which is really, really cool. But make sure you go over here to the current deals and free stuff. I need to get Modularity showing up here because it's the current deal. But there's all sorts of libraries for UniFi that are free. The Guru Nation Collective has tons of patches, cool samples. I'm definitely eyeing later this year, we're going to do a Guru Collective Volume 2. Let's see, where is the collective? I put it in, it's up here somewhere. The Guru Collective, right? Yeah, Guru Collective Volume 1, 465 patches. A whole bunch of you guys sent samples for the samples. I found samples, I made samples. There's some really, really cool things. There's a great piano in here. There's some really cool pads. And it's a free library. So if you have UniFi, make sure that you get this library. It just has so many lovely things. Here's the strings. Oops. You know, so there's that. There's a piano. Go up here to keys. I made this smaller because I have a plugin to show you with a big interface, so I have to make it smaller. Here's the soft piano. So you can load this into a new Unify layer. Turn down the strings a little bit. Nice. You do a whole soundtrack just with that piano and strings. There's also Tim gave us a background, all sorts of things. There's the 808 libraries that are up here at the top. 808 day 22, 21, 23. We've done it a couple times. I skipped 24. Maybe we'll do it in 25. We'll see, but there's all sorts of drum grooves. There's a free library. One to really check out is the free one for, where's it at? Recycle Light. The full Recycle is an insane library with tons of I don't think I have Recycle Light in here. Let me see here. If I go down here. Recycle. I don't have Recycle Light in here, but Recycle has all these drum grooves from and you can go over here, say Unify layer, add them. And it's all samples from Recycle, which is a electron unit that I have. So there's really, really cool sounds in this. No. Gotta get your growly basses and stuff going. Let me show you a minute modularity. This is the new one from Tim Dale that came out. Let's see, modularity is down here. I have to now remember my organizing because he's down here in his own little directory now for his Saber Sounds company. And modularity has 328 patches. He sampled all sorts of modular synthesizers. There's a whole lot of cool elements. And it's available at our website. So if you come over here, go to home. It's the first thing that shows up on the screen. Click this. And it's available at a really nice introductory price until February 2nd. So make sure you check that out. There's a lot of fun stuff in this library. And everything's very deeply programmed. There's a lot of UniFi inside of UniFi. Inside of UniFi, look at this. There's 3 layers of UniFi. So you can see how some more complex design of patch work in UniFi can be done. And it sounds like you got a modular system all of a sudden that you added to your toolbox. So it's cool in that respect. Yeah, so really cool stuff. We are continuing to develop libraries for UniFi all the time because that's how yours truly pays his bills and pays for Taylor. I'm now paying for Paul to help work on UniFi too. So thank you for buying our libraries. It keeps the dream and the adventure going forward. Hey, John. Hey, Creative Music and Sound. Is he a day here that you can construct pieces? Yes, the idea with these types of libraries is that you can play one note and all of these things are going on. This could be a component in your DAW that you then build on other tracks. You could solo out just a couple elements that you want to have for a cool background rhythm and remove the other layers. But with the BPM groove type patches, these are one note. Maybe you don't need that. You can hide it, you can mute it. So you can pick out, if you have other drums, you can mute the kick. Now you can build around this and you'll stay in this state, or you can hold down Option or Alt and remove those layers altogether so they're just gone. And now you have a rhythmic element that you can put into a composition to work with. Yeah. Thanks, GB. I haven't seen you before, man. I haven't seen your name. Thank you for joining up, man. It's appreciate it. So would you duplicate the patch or somehow build an arrangement? Well, it depends on if you want to use this in your DAW or if it's for live. You could duplicate patches if needed. You could also solo out just the elements that you want. If these are grooves, right? So for something like this, if I was to right click on all the G8s all the way down the line, let's just do this to all of them. What it's doing, I'm putting into mode where it's going to listen to the note I play in my keyboard. I'm going to play B2. Boom. So that means above, the drums play, but it's silent. So I could go over here to like a synth. Scroll down here. There's a second library in this library of synths and stuff. So I could say, here's Distorted Discovery. Load this into a new UniFi layer. And then I can actually, you can right click to move the zone and move this so it says C3. And you could write this way, right? And if I wanted something else, maybe I want to put a delay on this, so I could go to the insert effects, delay. Let's say I want it to be like a quarter delay, because it's a little bit more my style. And let's go over here to multi, put some chorus on it. Did I put Omega delay on the wrong layer? I did. So let's go over here. Here, I'll show you a cool trick. So let's make another Omega delay here. If you use Control and Shift, you can copy the setting and then hold down just Shift and click and paste the setting. And now, so I can work with it that way. I have UniFi since day one, but I never really managed to incorporate it in my workflow. I'm still glad I invested in it. Hey, Stan, thank you. Yeah, you know, there's a lot of ways to use UniFi. Because it is a host, it means that you can start from scratch and you can just work with existing plugins that you own. You could go over to, like, let's see, something. Well, hey, there's a new synth that I'm going to be showing you guys, so maybe we'll call that up. I just saw the link in my inbox, and amazingly, you're live right now. Hey, Nicholas, thank you for joining. Good to see you. Yeah, we're live right now. The 80 is a new synth by Zills Lab, I believe you announced. This is one of the new plugins. It's the fourth CS80 synth to be released. And so you can go through the presets. One unique thing with this is there's 3 layers instead of 2. And so they have this really cool interface that if you have all 3 layers enabled, you can like do this to like go between the mix of the 3 layers, which is unique. As far as sound compared to the other CS80s, I'm still kind of on the fence. Let's do a comparison, and let's have this in the top half. Go up here and say up to C3. And then let's duplicate this layer. Here's a cool trick. So if you say duplicate the layer, and then if you right click in the middle of the bar, you can actually drag the whole key range up and down. And so I'm going to drag this until the B3 shows up. Oh wait, B2. I want it to be B2, right? So here, let's click right here, and so B2. And oh, it's not going to do that because that's the key range stop. So we'll go over here like this and just say B2. Oh, come on, please work with me. And then let's go over here and let's say Cherry Audio. and they have the GX80. And let's load the VST3 version. They're all the same as far as we're concerned. The real hardware is really, really heavy. Yes. One thing that the 80 wins for to start with is it has the bigger interface. Although I think this might be something that I don't remember if you can go GUI size. So this isn't even 100% of the GUI size. This is a 60%. So they designed it to be big. And so I actually had to go there and resize it just to get it to display. But now we can have the GX80 on the left hand. There's something really nice with the Cherry Audio synth, I gotta tell you. The Exils, it's nice. They do have a request on their page. Let me show you the website for Zills. I think that's how you say it. I'm not entirely sure. It's one of those words that it's like, can you help me? It's like when teachers see my name in school, like John L. Can you say your name for me, please? And so I'd say my name, and yeah, that happened all the time. Anyway, they have at the bottom of the page a request for a time-limited full license. So you can fully try it out, check it out. A lot of the patches to me, and I don't want to, I've spent a couple of hours with it. It has great tonality, having 3 layers when used. They do the LFO things. They have ring mount and stuff. It seems to me that the GX80 just has a little bit more in the complexity of complex patches. If you go down here to, where is it at? Our friend Fred Nongat did an incredible library called Electric Dreams that has just some of the most crazy programmed, deep level programming. For the GX80 from Cherry Audio. I didn't hear sounds like this coming out of the 80. So not that I can't do it. A part of a synthesizer is the voicing and the people doing the voicing. Now, one other synth we should call up just for a second so we can verify the Arturia. They have their own version of the CS80, and you know, I like my friends at Arturia a lot, but this is by far this would be the sound of this just does not pop out at you. Not that it's not usable. Again, good patches are good patches, and with this kind of parameterization and stuff, if you can't make good patches, you kind of need to. But it did. Even the big stuff. You compare the Arturia to the GX80. Get into the big multis where he's using multiple. This is where UniFi really excels. It just could go so many cool places and do so much fun stuff that let's see, if we get to the synth stuff. Does he have some big, oh, here's a big poly. 'Cause, 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 Here's the 80 in comparison. The filters sound great. Again, the ability to have 3 layers, have it modulate through the different layers and stuff is really cool. Let's get to some of the other layers. I'm just going to push this button. They've got categories here for the different. Am I just in brass? It did this before me before. I need to go sort by bank name, just factory. One thing I did notice, yeah, it gets into the fun stuff for sure. So it can go there for sure. I mean, that's why I don't want to. I want you guys to try these out yourself. It's my job is just to let you know it's there, that you hear comparisons between them. One thing that shocked me is it does not listen to sustain pedal. So when I play it, and it doesn't sustain. So one nice thing with UniFi is that we can go over here to the little yellow plus button, go to UniFi's utilities, go to MIDI filter, and say emulate, and just like that, now we have sustain pedal. So I'm sure he'll fix that because it should be listening to CC64 for sustain. So it's definitely capable of doing sonic fun things. You'd have to like really make sure it did cool things if you're the 4th one to the party, right? So here's one where it's modulating, as you can see. So it has some tricks up its sleeve for sure. It's the only one with 3 layers, I'll tell you that. Everybody else is at 2 layers, so that does open up another half of a CS80 for you to play with, which is really cool. So, right? So, but as you can see, this is the fun thing with UniFi, is that I can load multiple things. I could use all these guys at the same time. A lot of you guys use UniFi where you use it on the layer to make the sound that you're going to use for that track, because at any point you can go back and add additional things to it, whether it's effects or other layers. Yeah. Right, yeah. Fred's pointing out that you do have right. Yeah, I think the voicing on the newest, the 80, is not at the same level as the voicing that has gone in. I mean, it's the 4th version of the CS80 from Arturia, so they've spent a lot of time programming with this engine, a lot of people making patches over the years. You could vote. I think, anytime you start talking about bests, it's the best for you. Someone else could take any one of these and just make sounds, any of these 4 that are out there. And I don't have the soft tube one, which is the 4th CS80, the model, I think it's 77 or something like that. I have it, but its time expired. So if I soft tube. Model 77 is the that's the year that the CS80 came out, so that's why they named it that. If I call it up, it makes me have to force quit UniFi because it goes to the iLock authorization and stuff like that. But hey, Paul. Partly French developed, yes. Oh, okay. Okay, great to see you, man. Yeah, send us a note. We'll help set you up and support you any way we can, because we want more word out, because the word is what gets people to know that you are there in the first place. So thank you, brother. Appreciate very much. All right, so the 80 is the first synth, and I haven't put a link, I think, on to the video description, but if you are interested in finding out more information, let me copy and paste this to you into our chat. There's the link for the 80. Let's do our free stuff, because I got a couple other free things to show you. And then at the end, I'm going to show you a little bit of what's coming soon. We got some other libraries in the works. Nothing like chocolate milk in the morning to get you. It's like I love to get a mocha, but I just do a single shot decaf mocha, so it's just got a little coffee in it. I'm a chocolate fan. The other things to show you that are new, I'm gonna go new init and then replace from layer and go to master optimizer light, so it just sounds nice. There's two free. There's a number. If we go to Cradle, see your aid. They have the series called State Machine. And they have slow drift, low end, and faded keys that you can buy. They have two that are free. There's Bitflip, that's been out for a little while. And let me get you a link. This is to their newest one that they just released called Playtime. I'll give you a link to that. They have a standalone download app, so you can get these by downloading their app. Hey, Doug. J.E. Kill, how you doing? That's an interesting name, man. Yeah, so this is an interesting instrument in that you've got a home synth where you can see the layers and so forth. If you click in here, it pops up where you can change what the A and B oscillators. You have a balance between the two to work with. Now, it's kind of like video game music thing was the idea behind this one. Now, the bug I want to show you, which is unfortunate, and I've emailed them about this, and I'm surprised somebody else hasn't before, is they have a really, really cool MIDI effects page where you can turn on where it plays a chord, and you can choose what chord you want it to play before it goes into the arpeggiator. Yeah, Paul, this is really, really cool how they did this. So you can choose these different chords. If I say like minor 7, let's see, where's minor 7th, and turn this on, when I play, it's transposing, so it's not necessarily pertaining to this. But the bug is this. When I play a note, there's a delay before it plays the first event. And if I set this like 8th notes, and let's do this. Let's call up, let's go to, oh, I was showing you earlier from, where is it? I'm looking for recycle. Let's get here to one of the BPM drums just to show you real quickly. BPM drum. Let's use blur and bounce, or let's not bounce, but Scorpio. So let's say load this to a new Unify layer. So I play the downbeat, the drum groove starts, and an 8th note later, the ARP starts. It's perfectly synced, but it misses the downbeat. If I set this to a quarter note, it's going to be a whole quarter note. It doesn't play on beat 1. And the fact that these plugins, and they have so many of them, and they all do this, and nobody has noticed this, is surprising. So they have examples where they have like happy melodies and it's playing the downbeat, and the second you try to use it in your DAW or UniFi, they need a place here where they can turn on and off whether it's basically a quantized start. And it's quantizing the start, always thinking that the downbeat is late. So it goes to the next timing event to play. If I set this to a half note, now I'm going to say here, it's off by a half note. If you set it to a 30-second note, then it's going to be off by a 30-second note, which you almost can hear and think it sounds okay. 16th notes. See, downbeat. So I don't know why they didn't catch that, but it makes these ARPs all difficult to use. You'd have to like record it as audio and then shift it or something like that. So the sounds are cool, but be aware that their arpeggiator needs to get a fix. So when you hear it and you play it and you're trying to use it in your sequencer and you think that the downbeat is where it's going to be, it's not going to be there. Anyway, just to show you that is what's going on now, I'm going to use the revert to go to untitled. So I go back. That's when I sing with UniFi is anytime you do so. Oh, wait, that's the whole state thing. I'll just say init and I'll start one more time. Replacement layer, master. Okay, so they have Cradle, 2 free instruments. The first one I showed you was the bit flip. The other one is Playtime, and think Pee Wee Herman's Playhouse, Sesame Street. So it's serious sounds, but also hey, look, it's Mr. Rogers. How are you doing today, you know? It's a lovely day. So, what are you doing today, Bill? You know? Although, I gotta point out something that's really funny is, here's one of those 8th notes where it's late, downbeat, nap time. Pirate Orchestra. All these things like this. And then all of a sudden, Poltergeist piano. It's like for the spirits. And then the monsters came into the room trying to eat the letter I. So, and you have this animation of happy kids. Here's one of the examples where under MIDI effects they have chord turned on, so it's playing a 1-3-5. And you have the spread. And if you go here to different things, you can. Right? So, I really liked how they did their little chord thing here. It's cool. School bus. You have an owl. Mr. Owl is speaking with us. This is where Mr. Rogers has a seance, you know. And now let's have Mr. Speedy bring the mail. Oh, that mail is glowing. You know. Anyway, there's 40 patches in both of these libraries. I should also point out they're nice instruments. There's some good stuff in there. The other instruments Hi, Athena. I hope you don't have to go potty. Like low end is for bass. You gotta go outside? My dog has to go outside, so give me 1 minute. I'll be right back. Live stream's interrupted by the dog. Okay, come here. Go ahead. Come on, come here. Yes, we have live streams that get interrupted by the dog. The dog stream, exactly. So this is for bass, and it's got some good stuff in it. 190 patches. Take over till it comes back, right? Again, if you go to their ARPs, though, oh, they do have an ARP category. They all have this delay before it starts. I don't see why they didn't catch that. That's just. You definitely hear where the downbeat is, right? Right? And if I go over here and add a groove, it's off. It's something I hope they will fix soon. So anyway, they have a number of instruments. Check them out at Cradle. I gave you the link for this, right? Yeah, I did. Yeah, Cradle apps. And then finally in the plugin category, I did one of those take them for the team, where I went to a interesting. I saw a promotion for this in social media because they're advertising hard. This is for the Distortion cooker. No doggy door. No. She goes out when I let her go out because we live where there's wild creatures. I live on the edges of Idaho in Boise, and I don't want her out there when I don't know that she's not out there in case I don't want her eaten by something. Okay, so Distortion cooker is a interesting. First thing about this Distortion cooker is that it has the interface that takes me all the way back to 1985, 86 with my Mac SE. And you can tell all of a sudden, just calling it up, the default. And then it's got some interesting things. It has the 3 different bands that you can have up to 3 different ones going. With a mix amount. Then there's these convolution reverbs. It also has pre-distortion, which is cool, so you can get the low end out. And you can change the shaping of things so that. And then post-distortion. And so using these, they have all sorts of presets. And it's definitely able to cook up some distortion. $18. So it's not one of those break banking. I just saw a hardware unit just announced for the NAMM show by a company that does distortion like this. And yeah, it's using really cool integrated circuitry, and it was $3,100. So this will get you a whole lot of different things for $18. You can change the width. So you can mess this up, and I believe if we go to the macro knobs, let's take a look real quick. Let's go to where we don't have any, and let's go look at the list. This is on the master effect. You have access to all of these parameters to add to your macro knobs. So you could be seriously changing all sorts of things with this. And it's modular. Really cool. So it has drums, bass, melodic. So really cool. So it's got my vote for a good deal for a great price. Right? So there you go on all the cool free plugins. Yeah, the Motorola's processors is 68,000. Yeah. Not that this is, I don't know if they totally are emulating that or not, but you do have output gain, auto gain capabilities. I thought just kind of fun, you know. So we all have lots of distortion. This is a little unique in that I like yuck. But make sure you play with the pre-distortion, because that's where the magic happens, because you can. And then the mix. I wish I had a global mix. That's the one thing that I didn't find on this, was the ability to, like, let me see if we go to the knobs, is there a global mix? Go master, effects. They have a bypass. They have mix, I think, for 1, 2, 3. Total mix. Here you go. Huh. If I turn this off, I want to mix that with whatever Ramzoid's distortion cooker is doing. So let's click the little bullet over here where we can reassign, and let's keep searching to see if there is anything else. Bypass, loudest volume, current auto gain. Ew, but yeah, these are not mixes. So interesting. Well, you can bypass it, so that way you could be from. So you can go between the two. But the one thing that we have our own distortion, as you guys know, inside of UniFi. Let me give you a quick tutorial on it, because one of the cool things with it is Noisebox has just, so when you call up Noisebox, you have drive, but that's not where the secret sauce is. The secret sauce is when you click right here and it opens up the distortion curve window. And with this, you can change the shape. There's different types of distortion. This one is really cool. It adds a really cool noise element. So, right? The thing that we do that's unique is you can go to custom, and now you can double click and make your own distortion wave shape, which is really powerful. I'll tell you a secret. Deep inside the code, we didn't do it, but there's actually 2 different distortions that you could be going between the 2 of. But it got a little bit too complicated, so we decided not to implement it. But the advantages here is we have a mix knob, so I can take this and I can just add just a little hair, and I can pre-EQ with a high pass filter, so I get that distortion just on the higher frequencies, and I'm controlling and letting the low end through. So we go here to low pass. One thing with Paul, I'll give you guys another secret for 2025, is that we hope to release lots of plugins beyond UniFi this year. So when UniFi 2 is done, we want to look at bringing out other effects and beefing them up and doing really cool things with them. And Noisebox is one of those I have always dreamed about beefing up and bringing out as its own plugin. So I hope this year that it's been a couple of years I've been hoping to do that. Can you show presets? The task is not the distortion. You have a specific song or anything. Can I show presets? Some, yes, okay, some. Well, we'll see how it goes. But this partnership with Paul, we have some really cool things that we've talked about that we want to do. So this is a really, really cool start to something really fun. It's new adventures. So yeah, I don't understand what you're talking about, Daniela. I'm not gonna, I don't know what you mean by showing presets. No, it doesn't. If you have a specific song, I'm not gonna try to like make a preset and make the distortion sound like a certain artist or something like that. I'm just showing the flexibility of Noisebox. We have a mix knob. Pressure Cooker does not. I wish it did, because it does do some cool distortion, but I want to mix between the dry, and they don't have that. But they do have the cool on and off, you can see, so, you know, so it grays out the windows and cool things like that. So, a separate Unify effects plugin. Yeah. We've talked about I'm not going to go there. I won't go there. But you know, the dream for me when Unify came out was to bring out lots of effects. Like that first year was the plan, and we just didn't get there. We had too many other things we wanted to do, and Unify is a lot of work in and of itself. So. Yes, Daniela, we did communicate, and you can communicate with me. I'm happy to help, but I'm not going to change my live stream to show your request. Sorry, that's not how it works here. So, if there are any other questions that you guys have for things to work with, no, Toby, it's believe me, it's been in the plans and discussions for a long time. We just didn't get to those types of things. So, a couple things that we are working on. There is a library I'm hoping to release. Audio in is definitely coming in UniFi 2, definitely. We have, where is it at? Groove Summit is a library I'm working on to come out towards the end of this month. And this is a really cool library in that there is a gentleman by the name of Heinrich who's part of the ESC, and he made a library for Omnisphere called Heartbeats, where he took drum loops and then used the granular and an LFO to go through the loops and so forth. Just have a question. Do you plan to implement something as an XY path? You can do that now. If you say we were to like, I'm going to sidetrack. I'll come back to Groove Summit in a second. Let's say we go to Mega Magic pads and we have this pad. Am I down an octave? I'm down an octave. Let's say I have this, and then I have Spiteful Spirits on another UniFi layer. Right now, you can right-click, say volume, and they're like that. So let's use the left box because this means from 0 to the current value. And I could go to layer 1 and say mix level, and I could go to layer 2 and say mix level, and then invert this one. And now my knob, and I can change my curvature so that it's a little bit more what I'm expecting. And I can segue. Let's see, how do I want to do the fade? Yeah, I want this one here that's coming up to be like this shape. And this one to, that's about right. So I could, and I want the curve to come a little bit sooner. Right? So you can make crossfades between the layers now and do your own curvature. We don't have a vector XY, but you can do this now. And the best thing about what we do is, because of all my experience programming Korg synthesizers and software synthesizers and everything, I want maximum control for the controllers, so everything has the ability to change not only the curvature, you can even double click and add breakpoints so that you could have the volume do all sorts of go really loud and then disappear and then come back. You can do stuff like this with every parameter of every plugin that's loaded into UniFi. It's like crazy. So now, so you can do this kind of stuff right now with every parameter in your synth. So that's the power of UniFi that nothing else can even come close to touching. So you can do that now. You can crossfade volumes easily right now. And then if you wanted to actually have this be controlled with automation, the current way of doing it is to go over here and say built-in CC writers, and you add these as a MIDI effect, and this is an LFO sending out CC. And you can see the CC number it's sending and the curvature it's sending. And then all you have to do is, let's see here, since this is Omnisphere right here, I could say, let's see, if I said 7, I go CC 7. So it's playing CC 7 for that. And then for this UniFi layer, going to UniFi, and this is Omnisphere as well. So I could say CC7 for this one. CC7. And that's just going to talk to each one. And then we could go to this CC writer and we could open up the curve shape and invert it. And this will go up, up, and down. And now it's fading. Inside of our, without having to do any more complex programming. But if you wanted, what we typically do is we use CC slider 20, and then inside of UniFi, if you click right here and say knob, let's say changes to, it's transmitting on 7, so if I change it to 7, oh wait, hold on a second here. I'm on the top level, right? So if I go to this level in here, and to these knobs, and if I say make this listen to CC7, it's going to now start to dance because it's, and so any parameters I assign, Omnisphere is really tricky on parameter assignments. You have to set them up ahead of time. Yeah, a dedicated mixer would be nice. Yeah, when we designed this 5 years ago, because I've worked with the Z1, was one of my favorite synths to program for Korg. And with that, we could assign parameters and change the exponential curve of the parameters and the minimum and maximum ranges. So when I was working with Shane on how to design this, it was really important that the macro knobs have as much control as possible so that you could invert the values, you could change all sorts of things with them. And that they could control. If you click right here and say plus, you can actually see that that's all you have access to inside of Omnisphere until you start. In Omnisphere, if you want to modulate Omnisphere, I'll show you what you have to do. Go to Omnisphere. Let's say we want to modulate the filter cutoff, right? So you have to right click and you have to say enable host automation to the parameter, right? And I have the envelope up really high, so, right? So now that is available to be modulated, and that was in this one here, right? Want to make sure that I'm right. So if I go over here and if I now look at my assignments and I go plus, and I go layer 1 Omnisphere, filter for A, which is the A layer of the 8 layers, there's filter cutoff now added to the list. So you have to go through every parameter you want because Omnisphere has so many parameters and it has 8 layers that you have to go through and register the parameters you want to modulate. So if you wanted to go to the effects, and let's say that there is a reverb here. Let's say we go reverb. And if you wanted to modulate the reverb, you'd right click on this and say enable host automation. And now that becomes a parameter. I can go to this knob and I could say plus, go to Omnisphere, and there's E4 mix. So I could now change the reverb mix and stuff like that. Yep. Multi-native. I'm multi-native. I think it's going to be available shortly after the NAMM show begins. I don't have the official information on any of those releases that Korg is doing. Did you guys see the records players that they're bringing out? Korg's releasing a series of record players with speakers built in and a USB output so you can take what's on a record and turn it into digital audio files. And they have all the way up to, like, I think it's around $1,000 for one that does 1 bit, which is the really super high level, accurate recording of audio, which is really cool. So, yeah, Korg, they have a product planning department that will do these experimental things sometimes. I don't know where it comes from. But anyway, back to Groove Summit, because this is going to be a really fun library. So the ESC and Heinrich made this library of all these really interesting, let's see if I go up here to the drum producers, 75 of them. So I just have some of them done to start. I've just started working on this. They have a really cool, unique sound to them. Right? Let's see, do I have these set up? I don't think I set these up yet. No. And then I've added additional stuff to this. Let's see if we go to the drums. Well, here, let's do it this way. I have a map of samples that I call the Groove Summit. The idea being there's going to be base camp, camp 1, high camp, and then summit. So there's going to be 4 different levels of grooves, from just the individual elements at base camp all the way up to summit, where it's going to be just insanity. Now this, let's see if I go over here and I choose, let's go over here to, we have so many MIDI files, and you're doing that for me. Thank you. That's interesting. Oh, I'm not in Logic, so I shouldn't be doing that. Let's see here. If I go Groove Summit, click here, it should give me access to the MIDI files. Thank you. And Groove Summit, and I have a stack so I can, there's 40 different grooves. And if I want, check this out. We'll go over here to a knob that's not used. If I right click, here's another trick for you guys that want to, if there's a parameter inside of a MIDI effect that you want to record to a knob for it to do it, all you have to do is turn on the listening ear and then change the parameter and it got it. So now I can go like this. So this menu, just so you know what's going on, because there's a lot going on in this, it's a menu with a ton of drum loops. And I've processed it, so it's really cool. So there's all these loops. That I'm going to be using to make MIDI files on top of the 75 that come from, from these guys. these go all over the place, and they're super unique and cool. On top of that, the cymbals that were available during Black Friday make a appearance in this library. So all the cymbals, grooves, and stuff that were in that free library, if you bought a library in November, they're coming up here. So you can go like this. And then there's percussion from the shakers and stuff from, I think that was from Eternal Flow. So it's gonna be a really fun library, just going groove crazy, because we don't have enough grooves, never have enough grooves. Kind of tired of waiting for Stylus RMX 2, so I'm gonna do my own cool RMX library. So right, so this is coming out end of January, early February. Bob Deddas has his next masterpiece coming in. Where's it at? Right here, Moonflower Tapes. I'm not even going to play it for you yet because it's early, but it's an incredible library that will be out in February. I can't wait to show it to you. It's going to be so, so, so cool. Coming soon. These are coming on soon. These aren't here yet. So, yeah. So, and this is just the start. The grooves that will become from this library is going to just be absolutely nuts, because Summit is when there's LFOs and there's all sorts of crazy things happening to these sounds beyond being just layers and stuff like that. So it's going to be super, super fun. There's a couple things, like there's a BPM pad I had in here already that was kind of... We can call it up all by itself, but it's a little bit more manageable. Right? So, all sorts of fun stuff coming. And I have like easily 5 or 6 other libraries right here, and some of them on the hard drive in the works process. So I love making libraries. We're up to, as you can see, lots of libraries, and there's some really nice ones here. Our friend was talking about just coming from Costa Rica. If you want a really cool library, the Signs of Life SE kit with all of these really cool environmental samples. These are all from Costa Rica. Rain and Monkeys. Wow, Toby. Dude, thank you. Sincerely appreciate it. Thank you, man. It's awesome. Waterfalls. Dusk. And then I took all of these and I fed them into convolution reverbs and all sorts of things to make pads with insects and stuff. Any new Zebra 2 unified libraries? No, we do have Toxic Zebra, which is one of the libraries that we unified. And then there's the Zebra and Zebra 2, these things that are released from UHI. Those are unified. Toxic Zebra is here, so you have... but I don't know of anybody that's done any unifying of other libraries. Just so you know, if you want to unify patches to a favorite plugin that you have that's not been unified, there's nothing to stop you from doing it. The main thing is to make sure on the purple layer, you go to Master Presets, use the Optimizer light. This just makes... It's very subtle, but it makes the sounds just that much more present in a mix to have a master layer that's just got just a little bit of compression, little bit of EQ and loud max, doing a little bit of a saturation to it. Without it, with it. So adding that before you do anything in Unify is really nice. If we go to all the instruments, you could go to something that we haven't. Let's go to Oh, the VK1 Viking synthesizer. This is fun because it's monophonic. So we call this up. Say we go to a patch. And I can go save. Now, I don't have a VK1 library, so I would go down to the bottom of the list. I'd say new library and unified, and then VK1 JL's faves, you know, or something like that. Give it something so you have an idea of what it's going to be. And now when I save this as, and I save, this is bass, 80s bass, I think that's the name of it. Register the name, yeah. Ooh, I like bombastic, so I want to save that too. So now if I go down the list to unified, if I go to the V's, unified, here it is, VK1, JL faves, save. I'm going to save to that same library. I'm going to go bass, bombastic. And if I wanted to, I could put in the tags. So it's a bass. And then for tags, we describe it more specifically. So bass, synth, big, bright, you know. Author, you could put yourself if you want to put any notes, or you could just leave it blank. Save as, get you to save a new file. And now I could go Unify layer, and I could load these two. And it just takes literally that much time to save presets. So you can just go through the list of your favorite plugins and your favorite patches and make patches this way. Let's do this. Let's go searching through the list. Let's go down to like maybe some like soft leads. Chick-fil-A. Okay, so save that as a single, right? So we're gonna say it's a lead. So I'm gonna say lead Chick-fil-A and change it to be lead. Save as save. And then I'm going to make this polyphonic, because one of the cool things with Unify is we can take anything and make it polyphonic. We do wave sequencing. If you search for WS in the factory voicing, you'll find all these really cool wave sequence patches I've created and stuff. But let's make this polyphonic. To do that, we need a God MIDI layer. So we go over here to MIDI effects, and we go, let's do 8 layers, polybox 8 layers. So we call up a preset. And then on our layer, this one layer, there's 4 steps. You have to change in to now listen to that MIDI effect. So we're routed through this. Change the MIDI channel to 1, which means now it's going to cycle and only play once every 8 times. And then the last step is to go over here and say duplicate this 7x, because I need to be 8 voices, right? So this gives me 7 more layers of the same patch. And each one has been advanced by 1 for the MIDI channel. So now, so I'm playing a monophonic synth polyphonically. And pitch bend, modulation wheel, everything works on all the layers at once as if it was an 8-voice polyphonic synth. But I want effects. And I didn't incorporate that, so I'll show you a trick. Hold down the Option or the Alt key and click Init. This will remove all the additional layers except layer 1. It keeps layer 1. So I could go in here and I could say, oh, I want to do some effects. So I want to go over here and I'm going to add an auxiliary bus. I'm going to go to the reverbs, and let's say I want Dragon Percussive Hall. So now I have a reverb that, when I get it to that, play that one sound. If you go over here and sit bypass on Polybox, set the sound the way I want, maybe a little shorter. I like that. Now when I duplicate this, change this back, so I turn back on Polybox, and I say make 7 copies, it's gonna make that macro, the the auxiliary bus 1, this knob setting, it's going to make that the part of the duplication process. So now it's going to make 7 copies that have reverb. And let's take it one step further. Let's say I want this to be reverb as a knob, right? And there's 8 layers now that are doing reverb, but I don't want to do this 8 times. That would be a pain in the butt. So I could go over here and I could say instrument 1, auxiliary 1, send, and I'm actually going to make it so it can go higher. So when it's at max, now we have a really cool trick. If you go to the knob layers and this bullet on the far right, this duplicate links to all layers. If it sees the same parameter, look at it made 8 of them automatically because I made 1 and then I used that command. So now when I move this knob, I can modulate the auxiliary. Let's say I also wanted to change the filter. So let's go over here and call this filter cutoff. And if I right click on this, and again, we have that ear, right? So the way you use the ear is you open up the synth, go over here, turn on the ear so it's blinking, and go to cutoff and move it. Just barely touch it. And it can go all the way up here, and I'll let it get all the way down to the bottom just for fun. Now go over here, use that same command again, and now I'm changing the filter cutoff of all of these layers of VK1. So watch, if I call up a whole bunch of these, if I move this, it's moving this knob right here for all of them. So you can do things that you can't do anywhere else on the planet with UniFi, even to monophonic synthesizers. So these kind of funs. Right? So that's the power. So you have those types of capabilities easily with everything inside of UniFi. As you can see, if I go to this knob and I said, let's say filter resonance, because I want to bring up the resonance. So I go to instrument 1, let's do it the old school way. Here's resonance right here. There's 2 different resonance. So in a case like this, you might want to turn off Polybox and listen to layer 1 because it's MIDI channel 1. And then pick out which resonance you want. I want that one. So we'll go over here to this knob, turn on the ear, move resonance. There it is. This is the free synthesizer, by the way. So make sure you search for VK1 Viking Synth online. You can find this. Now watch. Let's keep this open. It's like I'm doing card tricks. Let's go over here. Have this right here. Watch. Let's put this right here. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to say, duplicate the links to all layers. Abracadabra. Boom. It did it. If it sees the parameter and it sees other layers with the same synth, with the same parameters, boom, it'll do it. So now, so I made a 8-voice polyphonic synth from a monophonic synth, and I'm controlling the filter resonance and the reverb synth in about, what, 5 minutes, 2 minutes with explanations. So that's why we made UniFi. And it does so much more. If you go to the standard library, make sure you go up here and search WS like this, and you'll just see all sorts of really cool wave sequence things that are doing all sorts of fun things. This is using Polybox to cycle between all these layers. If you turn it off, it just sits. And if you turn on Polybox, but you turn off MIDI box, it doesn't work. But MIDI box going into Polybox, so fun. Wave profit level 1. So we're playing through all these layers. Each layer can have different send amounts, different effects. Like this has reverb on this layer. It's stronger. Decay for longer. And let's have this like, let's have this pan to the right, left to the right. So each layer is a separate timing element in this crazy complex thing. And then level 2 adds drums to it. So now and how many layers is this? 17 layers. And we're not using everything. You can go up to 24 layers. So hey Brent. See you later, buddy. Thanks for showing up. Thank you for showing up, man. There's things like Piano Sanctuary, which is really lovely for using the wave sequencing very subtle in the background. Volume drums. So there's so much we can do with the fun stuff there. So any questions? Any questions? It's so happy to be at 5 years. Have so many fun libraries to play with and share with you guys. With more on the way, with UniFi 2 in the works, it's feeling really good right now. Feeling really, really good. So this library I'm playing right now is the UniFi standard library. These sounds come with UniFi. It comes with, if I go off, there's 640 patches. Yours truly created the majority of them. Airwave created some. I think Houston Singletary. If you go to authors, you'll see the people that had made patches for this. Laurent did some incredible, really cool, these BPM splits that he did. This is all inside of UniFi factory library. So just so this is included. So these get you going, and we added, as we did updates for over the years, we added bonus additional patches. So if you look at the tags, there's all these bonuses for all of the updates. Where like for 1.7, let's see if I go, why isn't it not showing anything? How funny. I'm not in any category of something. Huh. Well, it should be showing lots of patches for each one of these, but for some reason mine is not. So I don't oh, you know what? I did Laurent Verona's. That's why. There we go. That's why. So if you go 1.1, I did 82 patches as bonus. This is where I did a lot of recycle work. So each one of the updates that we did over the years, up to 1.9 even, we added these using CC Writer in cool ways. Like 1.9 is our most complex patches, I think. Right? So all these kind of fun things. We made variations on the drum kits, stuff like that. Vocoder BPM synth reminds you of some of the Wave Station presets. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, I did all the waves. There's some really cool things in the, let's see, let's clear the tags. If you go vocoder, VOCO, these guys are really, really fun because there's mono versions and stereo versions. This is using Combo Box, which lets you add your own configuration and wire it up just by dragging the cables around to connect things. And so we have MIDI box playing a pattern that is being fed into Guru Sampler of a drum groove. And then we have a pad over here. And this is Guru Sampler. You can double click any of these. If you were to like right click and say, give me, you know, Ace, then Ace would show up. And if you double click it, there's the interface for Ace from UniFi. So it's very easy to add any audio effects, MIDI effects, instruments in one layer. So if I'm playing this, I use a really bright pad. I can go to other pads. So you can do this. You just open up Guru Sampler on the right. Right? And then, if you go to the macro knobs, I think I put, didn't I? Oh, I muted it. There's the drum groove that's powering the vocoder. So you can play the two together. And then the power of the UniFi is that I can go to any library. Let's reset this. I was showing recycle a lot today, so we'll go back up here to recycle above all the, so many libraries. It's crazy. Recycle, and we said, go to the BPM drums. If I said tame pyro, it's added. So, and you can just keep adding and adding and adding. Go to Cloud City, go to the BPM perk down here with all the, scroll through all this stuff, all the perk. Let's just make it Unify layer. So just click a couple things and say, let's add a shaker and jingle bells and a cajon. Right? So you can add, and just all the libraries work together. It's a beautiful thing. So control media, yeah, using yeah, use a gain if something is overdriving. It shouldn't. We try not to do that too much, but sometimes I get carried away. I must admit. Poor Cantable. Well, again, a gain stage before it hits Cantable would fix that, I think. So, Sonic's using, yeah. Cool. Well, yeah. I do make hot patches, I must admit. I'm sorry. I don't know everything yet about UniFi Works. How can you remove libraries from UniFi that don't work that you've loaded? Good question. So if you have a library that you loaded, then realized, oh, I don't have that plugin, you can do this. It's really as simple as right-click and say Reveal in Finder. And now you're in the Finder looking at the patches in this library. But go up to the libraries, and this shows you all the libraries. And let's say I didn't need to have, let's do this. I'm going to take, these are all my master files, so I don't want to delete them. But let's say I don't have, I got the, let's say it's a unified library, right? So let's go to the unified libraries, and turns out I don't own anything from UniFi. And so I'm going to take all of these, I'm going to drag these over here to my desktop so I don't erase these files because I want to keep them. But as you can see inside here right now in the unified list are the UHI, right here, the UHI libraries, right? If on the desktop, if I go over here and I say delete, move to the trash, they're no longer inside the libraries folder. And so now when I go over here and I hold down Option Alt and click the lightning bolt, that's how you tell UniFi to scan all of your databases. Oh, shoot. I still have 88,000 patches, so this is going to take it a handful of minutes to scan. Okay, well, that's that's going to wrap up our live stream right there. But that's how you would get rid of, if you have anything inside of the Unified Libraries folder and you don't want to see it inside of UniFi, you just have to delete that folder from here. And if that, and that should get rid of it for you. If it's, sometimes some people will put a library inside of another folder. That makes it a little bit more tricky because our presets have tagged with what library they're a part of, no matter what folder you put them in here. So you could have patches from here inside of a completely different directory. It's still going to show up as the AX73 unified library, you know? So it can get a little bit confusing at times, but start there by removing the folders first and seeing if that works for you. I'll put those over there so I put them back after we're done. Any other questions? I like these questions. Something that bless my way hot. Oh, we have to give me some examples and stuff. Okay, that's okay. Good, Rob. Good. Well, thank you for joining us. There will not be a live stream next week. I'm going to be in Los Angeles. 1 week from now, we will actually be at the Buchla and Friends event. For those of you that are not aware of that, let's see, Buchla and Friends event. If you do Buchla and Friends 2025 in your Google search, you will find this. And if you go to Eventbrite, you can get tickets. It's free. Let them know, and you can show up. And basically, all of these companies, Bitwig's going to be there, Dopefer, Milburn Instruments. We're going to be there. Wave Sequencer and myself are going to be sharing a table. We have some really cool announcements that we will hopefully be sharing with you about our collaboration and all that kind of cool stuff. So that can give you an idea. It's a headphones-only event. So you can come sit down, put on headphones, and we can chat without having to yell on top of each other. And this is from 2024. So that's what it's going to be like. It's going to be really, really fun. It's free, and we'll be there. Yeah. Any of your patches having drum sequences are quite hot. I know, but need to just, okay. Yeah, we will, maybe in Unify 2, we'll put a global gain somewhere so that you have control over that, you know? Oh, you're October. Thank you, man. Thank you. I appreciate your support. We love what we do, and we thank you for letting us do it, because without people buying libraries and buying Unify, we couldn't do any of this. So you guys keep the fuel in the furnace going, and we appreciate it. Yeah, 5 years. We've made it. Here's to the next 5. Paul, let's go. This time will be a nicer studio building, 2 floors of exhibitions. Right. Yes, we have a lot more road to go. So we're just getting going. We're just warming up. Unify 1, man. Wait till you see what we're doing. It's really exciting. We're definitely graduating. I will tell you that. Okay. Thank you for joining us. We will see you in a couple weeks. I should be back. I should be back. I'm taking a couple days after the show events to, I've got a reservation in Death Valley at a place that I like to stay. I like to go do photography after I'm done with the NAMM show, and you know, I've lost my voice and I talk like Barry White. I like to go to some place and take pictures in the quiet. So I got a couple days to do that before heading back. So I'm really excited. But come by and drop by and see us if you are in the Los Angeles area. And we will see you in 2 weeks with another live stream. And thank you again. We've done 5, a lot more than 5 to go. So we're just getting going. All right. See you later, guys. Thanks for joining. Bye. Oh, wait. Let's do our shout outs. Got to do a shout out. Eagle, Idaho. Shout outs from wherever you are, man. I want to know where you're at. Get this camera up just a little bit. Whenever I play, it makes my camera, it keeps going down and down and down and down. Yes. Thank you. Helsinki, Scotland, France, Eagle, Idaho. I love it. We've got them. You guys are all over the place. And I thought you were going to forget. Nope. I remembered. Perfect timing because I'm out of chocolate milk. There you go. Montreal, Quebec, Germany, Kasaka-san, arigato gozaimashita. Domo. I have friends from Japan. I'm so excited. I haven't seen some of the people coming from Japan in many years that work for Korg. So I am excited to see some of my friends and family from Japan. It's going to be very nice. The Netherlands, good to see you, Rob. Sweden, Eric, good to see you. Thank you. Right Band in Cologne, Vinder in Sacramento. We're worldwide. We're local. We're all over the place. Yeah. Me love Chalky. All right, you guys. God bless. Have a great creative couple of weeks. And we'll be in touch. Okay? See you later.